themselves, because I don't think eBRO have any intention to play Riven.
No, at least Riven is a riskier pick than Renekton, and I think offers a little less team utility. You can see the Alistar, they clap in. They knew that was coming. Oh, sorry, they take the Alistar. Oh, sorry, they're taking the Alistar away from Jastly. Yeah, sorry, my brain just twigged that one. Yeah, so the Orianna denial and the Alistar denial here. So that removes some of that beefy front line. We will see the Graves. It's a pretty solid combo with the Renekton. But now Jastly has got to rethink about what he may want. There aren't many other supports that fulfill that niche other than the Braum. And with the Lucian getting locked in here, that does indicate to me that eBRO Gaming might be thinking about the Braum as an option on this next rotation. Clearly don't need to take it now because you know who the support from the enemy is going to be. So they're going to pick up the Lucian instead.
It always interests me when we get into these matches, especially in best of 3, best of 5s, that teams do often sort of get locked into this sort of same champion pull mentality, rather than thinking, okay, we know they're going to roughly pick this, what could we counter? But of course, obviously the danger is if you try and counter it, they could have something else up their sleeve. But at the moment, it does seem that actually they're going almost with what EBG played in their first setup themselves, with the Kai'Sa, Alistar, Orianna, and the Darius coming in once again. This time for Kaya, of course, they did swap out the player, see what he can do in the Darius versus Renekton.
I think Darius is one of the better answers. Darius is a very, very good tool at just cutting through beefy front lines, because obviously that true damage is going to deal that damage no matter what. And so Darius is very good at cutting through tanks, right? He builds up those stacks, and you're always going to have that ability to deal a huge chunk of damage to the front line, making it more difficult for you to action as a Renekton. So I think Darius is usually one of the best competitive answers to Renekton in the Baron lane. But that is going to be Tix playing the Twisted Fate now. So this is very Dakun Gaming-like. Expect some pressure on the top side of the map. Expect both Tix and Izez to head up towards Haitia's lane and essentially look for those tower dives once more. The Nunu comes through for Rush here, but I think if you're Kai, you're going to have a lot of solid vision control. And if I were Rush, I would be hanging around that top side of the map, because if you're there to help the Darius, especially if you're level 5 by the time that dive comes through, you should be able to help counteract that and prevent Haitian from snowballing out of control.
Yeah, very interesting to see. Obviously, the Nunu being final pick this time. It was insta first pick last time out for Sengoku. So clearly they put a lot of value within that champion. Can be a very strong, no doubt about it. To excuse the pun, it can absolutely help snowball a game in your favor. But Isis with the Graves, we saw how strong that was in Rush's hands just a moment ago. Let's see if he can back that up. It worked out well for him in game number 1. And obviously, as you mentioned, with Tix being on Twisted Fate, we do expect him to be backing up those fights. We saw how close some of those fights were actually with Heish in that top lane. We know him and Kai are going to go at it. We'll see whether he gets the support from Tix this time around, because Tix on Yasuo, I didn't really support the fights too often. He just kind of ran away.
Yeah. The problem was there was a big desync between Izez and Tix in the previous game. Like Izez would go in and obviously try to set up the engage, but Tix was like nowhere near, so couldn't get the immediate last breath follow-up. Just a little bit of a miscommunication between the way. And again, I just think that eBRO Gaming needs to keep a level head. If their early game strategy doesn't go to plan, just rethink, revisit, think about what you can do from a sensible perspective, rather than just throwing yourself into team fights over and over again like they were previously.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Something, this could really decide how this group is going to go for Sengoku. They need a win. Obviously, they lost to Thunder Talk yesterday, 2-1 in a very close game, which is why coming into this matchup, they were by and far massive favorites to go against eBRO Gaming. But eBRO shocking just about everyone, including themselves, just judging by their body language afterwards, is that they came out on top and actually currently tied 1 apiece. They themselves have 2 losses so far to Team Secret and to Team Queso on day 1. So this is really a must-win game for eBRO. For Sengoku, pretty much the same, because if they lose this one, well, with the top 3 sort of going through in the groups, we don't really know where this one could go. We do have Queso versus Secret to follow this matchup, but right now we will see who can come out on top.
This is a very important game for eBRO as well, because if they don't get a win here, it is looking very unlikely that they make it out of the group. So this is almost like a must-win series for eBRO Gaming to keep their hopes alive of making it to the later stages of the Horizon Cup. They definitely came out with a huge swing versus Sengoku in that first game. They just need to channel that same energy here. They've definitely got the type of composition that can do it. They've got a strong bot lane that should have a lot of priority. The Lucian Braum is, like as I said, a tried and tested combo that has worked for many years, even in the PC League version. And they have a strong top side as well, where if you invest the resources early, again, Heish can be that frontliner that is very difficult to deal with. So they do have a good setup right now to find success in this game. It does revolve around having that good mid-game with Heish and Kite being strong contenders on their 2 item spikes. But I just want to see them. They are, look at it. Like clockwork, mate. Like clockwork, they're heading up towards the top side of the map.
Yeah, now, Kai just went towards the Gromp, actually. I was assuming he was going to be warding or something, but I don't really know what he was kind of looking at back there. He went almost round to the tri-bush. I was keeping my eye on the minimap to see where he was going, and then sort of came back around, whether he was trying to set something up or find the jungle pathing. I think was probably the most likely, having a little peek to try and see if he can help out here. But he is going to get pulled upon here. Kai in, well, not too much trouble. Does have the support of Hack and forces Isis to go back.
Isis will now head into his own blue side jungle. Unfortunately, they were just a little slow on the rotate there. I understand what they were trying to do. Heish was engaging the Darius in a brawl, hoping to then draw the gold card from Tix to then finalize that kill and get himself off to a first blood early start. But you can just see that the top side of the map are trying to work in sync to invest those resources. You can see, he says, ping engage, like, go, 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 find the engage here, and Izez jumps in.
Apprehend goes through on the Decimate. Kai sat waiting to see, but honestly, this is working well for K right now. This is worrisome for Heish, I would say, on the Renekton.
Yeah, he's not in a great spot right now. We'll hit level 5, though. However, you never really want to engage Darius post level 5, especially when you're not sitting on a healthy amount of HP in your own right. So Kai has navigated this early laning phase really well, and that bodes well for Sengoku Gaming in general. Remember, Darius is a relatively good answer into Renekton. It's not the best. I don't think there are many great answers into Renekton, but Darius is a relatively good answer because you can cut him down in these teamfight situations, and you can allow your team to deal with him more readily. Kai now utilizing every element of this lane pressure to try and zone Heish away from as many minions as possible. Heish will now pick up the honey fruit, though, so we'll get himself back into a fighting fit shape.
Glad chat noticed it as well. I saw it. I saw that headfoot pulverized mess up there. We've all been there. Here comes the Twisted Fate to try and help out. Get onto Kai. Kai is the focus, and he will be the first blood. They can back this one as well. They do get the stun card down on Rush, and that's a great catch from Tix there. But Heish is going to be taken low and caught out. This time, Dejiwoo does come to the rescue.
Really good rotation from Dejiwoo to rotate towards that top side of the map and have the impact in that fight. It was a good first blood for Heish, of course, but the rotation of the support made the difference, and they allowed Hack to pick that up without expending any of his summoner spells either. You've got to remember here, Hack is very, very vulnerable if he doesn't have those summoner spells available. We'll take a look back. Kai gets locked down with the gold card, but unfortunately that was a very aggressive position for Tix to be in. Heish flashes forward to ensure that he picks up the kill. Nice slice and dice to get out of the damage from Rush. I think Rush timed the exit of that ultimate really nicely. And then Heish, a headbutt, just gives the vision. It was really stupid, but it gave the vision necessary to allow Hack to get the auto attack, which was quick thinking there from the Sengoku game.
Good response, though. Good response here. Just quickly get the dragon, get in. It's a good dragon to have the Infernal. They're going to be happy with that. Of the Rift Tower. And Rift Tower still hasn't been started off, has it? Yes, it is. It's just Nunu going to take that one down. Is anybody going to challenge him? Oh, Isis having to burn the flash to get away.
But you'll take your flash for an Infernal. That is a relatively good trade. As you said, in eBRO, they are up in gold right now. Not much, but they are up in gold. Now, they lose out on the Rift Herald, which of course means they have to be a little careful about where they position on the map now. Because if they leave any of those lanes open, it could be first turret of the game. Easy take for Sengoku Gaming. But this is a slow and steady start for both teams. Not only is this important for eBRO, it is also important for Sengoku. They have yet to get a series win. They've obviously played less series than eBRO Gaming, but they do want to pick up the wins where they can. This should, by their own estimations, be a series that they were favored in, and they will want to pick up this win to ensure they're off to a good start and hopefully get themselves out of this group.
Oh, this has been so well tracked, but oh no, Dejiwoo! I got a feeling he's not that well practiced on Alistar because he just messed up his combo once again, and Sengoku immediately had to back out of that one.
They were trying to set a bot lane tower dive. They had the minion wave to work with, but again, eBRO just reading it as best they can. Rush across the map as much as possible here. Is going to zone Kite away from this mid lane tower and then drop the Rift Herald. That was a really nice play, but the culling comes out immediately.
And immediately Tix comes in as well. And the problem is, with a Lucian, with a Twisted Fate, you do have really good wave clear. And they do manage to keep that tower alive, banked gold there. Meanwhile, Wan down the south side is getting a lot of work done on the turret.
Very close to taking that one down. 2 towers, almost a few base attacks from crumbling in both mid and bot right now.
Well, the Apprehend comes in, the Decimate to follow through is going to get caught out there. A lot committed for EBG there. They are going to give up the mid turret. I was going to say, if they're going to back away so heavily, that mid turret will go. They're going to leave the Lucian there. Rush taking a few too many tower hits there, but it would just be an exterminate if it was the case. And actually, the fact that they've all backed away and left this tower completely open at the top.
Well, it's going to be a bit of a race here between EZ and Heish. They are trying to take first tower of the game, but there is not a minion wave. 4-1 to work with right now. And that's actually going to be first tower of the game going in favor of eBRO Gaming. So even though they lose the Rift Tower, they get the coveted first tower prize. And that is, again, I think, I would say a very ballsy apprehend from Kai.
Yeah.
It's a good response from Rush to pick up the
Gold card, gonna get the stun. Is the tower? No, the tower is on Rush. That was the replay. That's what we saw.
That's the replay.
I thought we had it. I thought he had him on the spinning step.
I thought you were like halfway through. Did you realize that was a replay? And you were like,
I saw the replay, but I wondered why Rush was taking so many tower hits when we switched to it before. But there we go.
Here we go then. We are now looking at a relatively even game. It's only 500 gold separating these two teams. Of course, next objectives might be key. I wonder where eBRO Gaming, what they want to do. They do have a team fight comp that can work at this stage in the game. Obviously, you always have to be a little careful of the Orianna, but it's not like with a Renekton you can't team fight. Like, you definitely can. He is going to be that big catalyst for you. He's got a decent gold lead on Kai as well. I really think they need to be playing around Heish as much as possible here to do what they did in the first game and snowball these smaller skirmishes and team fights in their favor.
They can't afford to leave Twisted Fate alone on that bottom lane. Oh, Kai, did he dash the wrong direction there? It was like a little dash forward. They are going to put the pressure on that bottom lane turret. They are going to try and catch out. It's just the Braum, though, can put his unbreakable will up, the shield going up there. And Dejiwoo with the biggest snowball in the world. It's Jaslyn he's going for. Really well duped there, just running around in circles, gets the Glacial Fisher down. Now the Culling is available as well. They can get the damage down. I'll tell you what, it's a really good cover for the carries at the moment. This is worrying for Sengoku. Look at Kite getting the damage down, trying to push in there. The Twisted Fate just giving them all the vision that they need. Looking around the map, here comes the Darius. He's the Dark Master coming behind, but he's going to get stunned out. And this has gone very, very wrong for Sengoku. But I tell you what, they're going to get away with just a single death, which is way, way less than I expected.
No, it was a 1-for-1 overall, but Wan is hovering round the side of this dragon. Heish should provide enough of a respite, but it will just be an immediate response by Sengoku to go for the top Rift Herald once more. And they're going to get mid lane prio. There are low HP bars right now for eBRO Gaming. They have to be very careful about how they choose to defend this mid lane tower. You see the red card locked in from Tix, just trying to pull that wave away. You see the Unbreakable coming through. That mid lane tower could have gone down for free if they weren't careful, but as I say, Sengoku responded nicely here. They reset and set up for the other objective on the map, which is that Rift Herald now. They could drop it mid for an easy mid lane. That's an engage.
Yeah, double flash pulverize in the end after the headbutt pulverize combo didn't work. I saw that, don't worry. I gotta point it out because, you know, we've all been there, right? We've all messed up. We're not quite tapping quick enough.
With Alistair's, it gets in your head. It really does. It actually gets in your head. If you fail one combo, it's like, oh no, I'm going to fail all the combos now. And you just keep failing combos and it gets worse and worse and worse. Trust me, I've been there. Especially when you're out of practice with Alistair. It feels like it should be easy. But when you're out of practice with Alistair, it actually genuinely has an impact. I find when I haven't played Alistair for a while, I get really bad at landing the combos.
I mean, obviously we're on land environment as well. It can sometimes feel a bit different, there's no doubt. But yeah, I gotta keep my look. These are pro players. If they miss a combo, for us bronzes and golds and silvers of the world, you know, anyone that's out there that's sort of struggling down in Emerald or something like that, and you know, there's a chance for you guys.
Speak for yourself, mate. Lee, I'm not wrong.
Oh no, mate, you've been carried your way up to Grandmaster, no doubt. Mr. Support. Who's carried it? Did Hells carry you up there? I'm not too sure.
No, Hells into my games. No, joking. No, Hells is great. No, anyway, let's get back to hand. The game in hand, and they go for a tower dive.
Yeah, they're going straight for the tower dive, but the problem is with the Twisted Fate, all the vision is there, and they can see it coming. That was a beautiful apprehend, though, but he does manage to get the damage down. Oh, he wants the dunk, he so does, but he just can't get close enough.
It was a great shockwave from Hack as well. Really turned that fight on its head. It was a 5 versus 4, by the way. Has Wan overextended, forced to flash away here. You can see that Heish may be looking for the flash. It's coming up just now.
Oh, Hack's red as well. Tick sees him coming, gets the stun card down. In comes Isis, gets the flash and forces the flash away. In comes the snowball from Rush, and they're going to try and turn this fight back around, and it may well be the case here. They've committed, and at last we see the dunk come down. But at the same time, they are getting pummeled in the mid, and Kite getting a lot of damage down to the turret. And this is an objective game. It's not about the kills. The kills help, but it's all about the objectives, and that Rift Herald did nothing.
It really didn't do anything at all. I think Rush dropped it down as a distraction, maybe. It's a 1-for-1 overall, but eBRO still in the lead right now. Need to make that very clear. 2,500 gold doesn't mean a huge amount at 11 minutes into the game. You can see that Kai and Deji Wu just trying to push down on this mid lane tower. And Kite was so very close to picking that up. It looks like Heish doesn't want to contest this by himself. Even though they have the vision control to support a anti-dive situation, they will lose that top lane tier 1.
A much more even game this time around, but I've got to flag up the fact that Heish is starting to pull away, and that's a problem, I would say, because we saw how strong he can be once he gets that Renekton into that power spike moment, and well, Kai has been relatively absent so far. That's the first real sort of dunk assist that we've seen from him in the majority of this game, but eBRO, they are happy to fight right now, and I'm not too sure if Sengoku are quite ready.
Well, have a look at the item spikes. Orianna has picked up her Rabadon's death cap. That is a huge spike. However, she doesn't have anything defensive. Neither does the Kai'Sa. There is no stasis there, so they are still sitting ducks for a Renekton stun. So you have to keep your eyes on where Heish chooses to apply pressure in these team fights. The Kai'Sa does have the Infinity Edge. It's a weird build for the Kai'Sa.
Oh, good catch. Yeah, Deji Wu does manage to catch a really nice lock up there, but the Glacial Fissure does only catch out the Alistair, so not what they were looking for there. Rush managed to sidestep, and with quite a few things burnt, certainly engage and disengage, it's Sengoku that wants to go for this once again. Just tossing the snowball in there. A little catch onto the Renekton. Don't think they're too worried about that. They do manage to headbutt, pulverize, just knock him away. Heish not involved in this fight. It's the Dragon spawns.
They are starting to struggle to deal with Hack. Hack is providing so much zoning potential. He's keeping them at distance. Oh, he gets pulled in.
Oh, he hasn't got the dominance to pull out here, and it gets turned around, and there is a very quick dunk coming out from Kai this time around, dealing with Heish. And you can see Chastity has to run away from this one. They're being kited left and right, but have they got the damage dealers down? Kai gets away with nothing at the moment. Kai trying to get the damage down, but there's no tanky frontline for him to fall back on. The tower's going to crumble, and Kite has to respect this and back away.
There's a real problem. There's a real gap in the eBRO gaming lineup, and that is there isn't any consistent engage. It is so difficult to find a proper engage versus an Orianna right now, and Hack is running amok on the front line. Overextends just a little bit around the Claren right now.
Glacial Fissure's available in just a few seconds. If he can just delay and stay alive, Chastity will be able to turn it around, but no, down he goes. The Baron will fall, and it is going to be Sengoku that pick it up, and they continue to get kill after kill, and Ezis just overcommits.
Yeah, this is now a big win for Sengoku Gaming. 2 major objectives on the trot. They're going to try and catch out H as well.
And this game is in danger of slipping away very quickly for eBRO here. It was a tight fight up until that one moment, and Sengoku have capitalized on it so pivotally. They're going to get back and going to get the Dragon down with that Baron play. this is going to work out so well in their favor. The lanes are in their favor as well at the moment in terms of pushing. They could just buff them all up, and away they go. And they're still looking for more. They're going to go in. They catch on to Tix. Tix is going to be able to get away with this one.
Yeah, he'll be able to get away. He's got a bit of extra movement speed in the form of that Lich Bane, so just walks his way out of the Alistair engage. But I think I've got to praise Hack here for his itemization. Like the very early Rabadons, you don't usually see as many Orianas go for second item Rabadons, but it gives you that power. It gives you that punch that allows you to sort of zone and deal damage before teamfights even take place. And because there isn't the kind of like this Alistair, you know, you're this kind of like push the button and engage whenever we want, they're struggling to find the right opportunity. The best form of engage this team has is a slice and dice into flash stun from H. But that, of course, is completely gated by flash cooldown. The other way is maybe a Glacial Fissure, but it's so easy to play around that I think it's really, really much a struggle right now for eBRO Gaming. The next best spike they've got is the Rapid Fire Cannon on the Twisted Fate. That does give them a slightly extended range to their engage, but again, it is only single targets, and you're very likely only going to be catching out Rush, Kai, or Deja Vu, who are tanky enough to sustain that kind of engage. I think that this Orianna has helped create the space necessary to allow something else. They allow SG to essentially zone away the engages from eBRO Gaming whenever they're trying to look at it.
eBRO doing a great defensive job at the moment. Just the single tower fall in though, the tier 2's go, and they are going to hold on to the inhibitor turrets. It looks like that the Baron does run out for Sengoku. So in terms of gold, yes, it is what, a 6,000 gold differential, but the team fight capability is still there from eBRO Gaming. The problem is when they pull the trigger. Often it will be a little too quick and too soon. We know that Isis is certainly one to look for that fight. The snowball doesn't connect. They are chasing down Kai at the moment. But again, talking about committal, they're not all in the right place at the right time. Ace on the back line. That is good work from him, but the rest of his team are unfortunately in trouble. And that puts Ace way out of position. And it is dunk after dunk after dunk for Kai. And he is loving life with the Quadra. Sengoku will take game 3 and take the win 2-1.
Brilliant performance from them. They absolutely came back in style over these last 2 games, and they will take the Nexus